What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Alma, Missouri. We're doing one quick... Okay. What just happened? You can see the straps are there, and the eggs just flew off. You know, if you followed the channel for a while, and the last few months, I'm holding back, guys. That's... I want to know why. I want to know why that happened. That's bizarre. I do have, you know, some older mods, probably some conflicts going on right now with auto-loading trailers that I'm not using in this series, but my goodness, please tell me this is not a bug and it's just a freak accident with mod conflicts. We are going to do one quick little episode here. There might not... Yeah, so why is that moving? We might not be doing any farming in today's episode. We're putting a pin in Alma. I mentioned that last episode. We're officially doing it here. We're going to get through November and December. That'll get us at a good stopping point so where we can really just focus on the survival challenge for a little bit. We'll take a break on the survival challenge eventually and get back to Alma. That's the plan. Let's hop in the tractor and let's restrap everything in. But yeah, those are the plans. That's what we're doing today. All right, we whipped it around pretty good there. I think they're locked in now. But we're going to sell some eggs to start November up. Let's grab the controller again. And then we will, well, first we're going to take the tomatoes to the ketchup production to get that going, because next month is definitely when that's going to be worth its most money. And then we'll take the eggs to get sold, and we got to figure out why our alignment's off. Potentially moving away from the steering wheel. The setup's just been in the way. It's just too bulky, and until I get something that's more comfortable to sit in, I can sit straight up with this, with the controller. With the steering wheel I can't, and having some neck and back issues as well. But let's get back to farming. We need to get those turned into ketchup as soon as possible, since the peak price is December. The eggs are at peak price right now. We have 13,000 eggs to sell. Unfortunately, I didn't move them before sleeping, so we lost a little bit of production with eggs. But it should be good. And taking a look at prices here, let's get down to eggs. See exactly where we're going today. We want to go, looks like the supermarket. Let's go ahead and tag that. And we'll have that tag set up, but we do want to make sure we go to the ketchup production first so we don't accidentally sell them at the supermarket. It'll be good to come over here and see how much ketchup we have. We've been letting it just pile up. In December, we'll have to get over here with probably the John Deere, the other John Deere with the front loader, so we can load these up onto the trailer. There should be a good amount of pallets over here at this point. And 3,000 more getting dropped off is always going to help. Yeah, it looks like 8 plus 4, so 12. And then there's probably a few more that haven't spawned as well, is my guess. Let's go ahead and unstrap these here. Get those dropped off. The production should be going good. We got water in there. We'll have to check it momentarily. But let's get the eggs sold and see how much money eggs are going to bring in here on the first full year in Alma. Gonna get that mod added that shows what year we're on. That's super helpful. I love it up there. We have that on the Cattle Ranch playthrough, but I need to add it to this mod pack as well. Oh, got to stop for the train. And just cruise it around over to the supermarket sell location. And we'll go ahead and get these unstrapped now. 55,550. So that puts us at 110,000, still with ketchup to sell. We'll have to go back. We can't go this way. We're going to go back home, evaluate everything that needs to be done in November, make sure the farm's all taken care of. The fields are kind of stagnant at this point. We could start cultivating up the oilseed radish field, but I think we'll wait till spring to start doing that, as well as planting the oilseed radish in the corn field. We'll see if we can quickly flip that before planting the next crop there. We might have missed our window to do that though with the cover crop. Somewhat tempted to do a little bit of a test. I don't know if I'll remember by the time we get back to this, but I was wanting to do a double cover crop to see if you could get 100% fertilization that way. I imagine you can, but the way grass works, if you did that with grass, I think it would just end up being 50% still. So maybe we'll hold off on that. I'm sure I'll get comments now that I mentioned it. And boy, that's a big field. I bet that contract's out there. I just want to see. I'm not going to do it. I just want to see. That's a big one too. So the biggest one's not out there. If we refresh, could we get it? Doesn't seem like it. Yeah, that would be a lot of money and like a whole day's worth of work with one harvester. Real life day. All right, we got a lot of equipment that needs maintained and taken care of today. We got to clean all of this. We might actually, after we sell all the items in December, we might possibly take everything over to the workshop and do some actual maintenance on it, since we'll have money. Let's see what else we got going on in here. Everything seems somewhat clean. Is this thing dirty? This is dirty. So yeah, we'll do all of our maintenance today. This is pretty filthy too. And what's the damage on here? Only 2%. We've been doing pretty good keeping it clean and not using equipment while it's dirty, and I think that's been helping with the damage as well. 2% there. This tractor's probably the highest. Yeah, 33% damage. Let's see how our harvester's looking. 5% there. The header's at 2%. Doing pretty good. Keeping the value. Yeah, 25%. The tractors are going to get the most wear and tear. 99% dirty. I hear a tractor on. Let's hop in here. Let's save some diesel. And while we're here, let's see how the food is doing for the cattle. Looks pretty full here. We've got 6,000 liters of milk yet. Look at the baby. Look at the baby. Let's see how the price is for that, because we might want to do another selling event of milk if prices are good. I mean, they're not that much lower than their peak. If we look at time saving stock, we would lose about $2,000. It'll only be $14,000. The ketchup's our big money maker right now. December and then January, we're gonna have some crops to sell as well. We'll have some sorghum if we decide to. The corn, which we were hoping. See, that's the thing. That's the thing today. Are we going to be able to do that? Let's take a look. The corn dryer is what we wanted to purchase next. Let's go to productions here. Go to getting used to the controls on the controller. We want to go to the corn dryer, and we want to visit this place here. All right, not bad. Let's go ahead and click on this and see. It's only 100,000. Okay. Okay. That's going to be worth it. So the process that we're looking at is we want the corn dryer so we can dry corn, and that would lead us to being able to buy the popcorn production, which takes in dried corn and butter. So we do need to get a production to create butter as well, but we also could, that's butter popcorn. We could also do just plain popcorn without the butter. So two-step process. So let's go ahead and visit here. I imagine this is going to be a little more pricey. 240,000. Okay, so I think what we'll be doing is a couple cycles, or at least 1 year, of just drying the corn and selling it, and then after that we could buy the popcorn production. But let's get back over to the corn dryer, and I think we will purchase this and start bringing the corn over so that it can be good to sell as dried corn as soon as possible. And we're gonna hit OK. Got that purchase. This is now ours. So we need to get home, probably want our biggest tractor, and we need to get our grain trailer and get as much corn. It's gonna take multiple trips here, but we're gonna take all the corn over there and get that production rolling. Let's go pick that up, and then we'll get it and pick up all the corn, and we'll head in, drop off the dried corn, and get that production up and running. I think we're gonna need propane for that as well. So the trailer that we do have is compatible with propane, so we can, first we'll do the corn, then we'll get the propane going. We'll have to figure out where we can buy propane. Hopefully there's a propane selling location, and we didn't mess up and have to buy that production as well. But we might have messed up. I mean, maybe we should find that out first. Yeah, we'll get the grain trailer over to, woo, sensitive steering on the controller. We'll get the grain trailer over to the silo, and then we will figure that out from there. All right, before we load this up, let's go ahead and jump in the menu and see if we can find a location to buy propane. Oh, there it is. Propane buying. Okay, so there is a buying station that we can tag. Now let's look at the map, see if we can locate that. Oh, it's right at the gas station. Beautiful. That's not beautiful. All right, so let's put as much corn as we can in here. And then while that's filling up, I'm gonna grab this tractor. And I believe the water tank right now is over by the greenhouse. Let's see if there's anything in here. If there is, we'll have to get it emptied. It's not. Yeah, we are mixing products. We don't want to do this long term. We want to get dedicated tanks for each thing for milk, water, and propane, but until we can afford that, we're gonna be mixing products in this. All right, let's get follow me all configured here. Believe it is right control and F to initiate, and they are set to be 25 units behind, so that's perfect. Now we can just cruise on over to the drying station, and we can drop off the corn and then swap to the case to get the propane and get that production up and running. What a beautiful thing. Follow me. Amazing mod. I am going to try the pick up and deliver of the base game helpers to see if we can have them do the next loads for us. I want to see if it works. I could set up auto drive for that. It would be super easy to do auto drive on that. But I want to see if the base game, I want to give the base game stuff more of a shot. All right, that's the propane station. I guess we'll drive over there first, and then we can loop back around to the drying bins, which I think are right over there. Doesn't look like the train's coming. Hopefully we'll both make it. And I did shut off traffic in this playthrough. It was just getting too much in the way. All right, so if we pull through and stop about right yonder, should be able to switch here. We'll go ahead and stop the helper. Go ahead and start refilling this. We have $10,000, so I think we might burn all of it here. Yeah, propane's expensive. Let's do, gosh, let's keep a little bit of cash there. And then let's get follow me enabled again. And then we can go ahead and not enough money. Oh, it did take all our, what took the rest of the money? All right, we're negative. That's okay. Miscellaneous 1960. Well, I don't get that. Let's just double check that this is the right place. It said dump corn. It makes sense. Owned by my farm. Perfect. Okay. So R1 triangle, learning all these buttons. We'll let that get dumped. We'll drive on over here with our 3,300 liters of propane and get that production up and running. And hopefully this will be enough. I'm not sure about the propane consumption here, but I believe that's going to be around, oops, the other side. Let's go ahead and back up a little bit. Loop around where the propane tanks are. All right, that's deposited. So let's go ahead and head on over here and we will get this production running. More negative dollars, huh? All right, so we should be able to just activate this now and we'll see how that works. But let's go ahead and try this out. Let's go ahead and go in the menu. We're gonna click on this tractor. Let's get the right one. We wanna create a job. I wanna deliver. I want to deliver and looping. Okay, so if we do this, let's find the drying station, corn dryer. Loading position, we want to be right here. And it says there's an error. Looping. Let's go ahead and start the job. Oh yeah, we don't have enough money. Ignore me. Let's go ahead and hop out here. Let's make sure we're saving fuel. We'll shut that off. We'll have to come back and get this tractor once we, well, you know what? Let's take this one first. Let's shut off the John Deere if I can freaking learn the controls. All right, that is off. We're gonna go get the little bit of milk we have since we're broke, and then we're gonna sell the milk, and then we can get back to business here. So many good maps dropping. Like Iowa Plains View is gonna be coming out soon if it hasn't hit already. And that was one of my favorite maps. We did a makeover. Brody and I did a makeover on that, a farm makeover, and then I did a farm rescue on that map as well, was the other farm rescue map. Super interested to get on that in FS25, but we'll be patient. We're gonna keep limited series for a little bit going while I really figure out exactly how we're gonna make content for FS25 long term. And I think I have a good plan in mind, but I just want to slow roll it out for you guys. Let's get this milk, get back, get our balance sheet back in the green, and then we'll be able to get to December pretty quick here and hopefully sell some dried corn and some ketchup. Okay, so learning the buttons here. Let's get the help menu open. Switching to controller. It says R. I think it's gonna be honk. Start refilling. That's pretty easy. There we go. And let's find the location for that. Looks like we're going to the dairy, which we will own one day. All right, let's see how much this gives us. Should have been around 14 grand, so that should definitely help us get through the rest of the month. And like that, there we go. 13.4. All right, let's get back to the John Deere. We're gonna try to do what we were gonna do. See how it works. We might have to help load it, but then it'll drive here and deposit it for us. I know that will work. And just, you know, We're gonna throw this on follow me too, just to have fun. All right, that is configured. Let's hop into the John Deere again. Well, let's do it this way. Let's grab that, create a job, and we want to do load and deliver. So the loading station, yeah, this is what we want. Unload is gonna be the corn dryer, and the loading station is the farm silo, right? Which should show, okay, so that's gotta be the wrong silo. Grain silo? There it is. All right, let's start job. And they should loop and deliver that. Okay, base game, give them some props here. It's costing us money on workers, but like, did we have that looping too? I think we do have it looping. Okay, that's sad. Maybe we don't watch every little bit and nitpick it. That was hard for me to say. And while we're waiting for this to get back to the store or get back home, I want to kind of go over and remind everyone the plan for this entire series is to own the Alma specific production. So we have this bakery that has apple pies. We have the milk production, which I don't think there's anything special about that. There is this grain one that can make corn flour and fine corn flour, so we're going to want to buy that one. The pizza production, we're going to want to buy the popcorn production, and those are, yeah, so it's going to be the popcorn production, the pizzeria, grain production, and dairy and bakery, which all have specific things to, well, I guess not the bakery, I take it back. The ones that have specific things to Alma. Another way to look at that is to hop in, whoops, to this menu, and if we go to productions here, the factories, they should be at the bottom-ish. We'll find the Alma specific ones. So you see Alma Missouri Mod, the corn dryer, Alma Missouri Mod, the grain mill, or grain dryer, and those are the only ones. So these other ones must have been different mods that he pulled in, but you get the gist. So let's go back to the other one. Let's redo this so it makes a lot more sense here. The things we have to focus on are the bakery, the grain mill, the pizzeria, and the popcorn production. All right, let's load up here. Oh boy. All right, let's go ahead and stop the helper on that and get out of the way so they can loop around. Unfortunately, they're gonna do it that way, but that's gonna be completely fine. But they are doing their job, pulling up here to get another 38,000 liters of corn. Beautiful. Good job, Giants. This might have been in the last game too, I just never used it, but this is sweet. They're full and away they go. And I believe they're gonna wanna do one more trip because we should have, yeah, 5,900 in corn left. Yeah, this feature is gonna be super helpful when we're in the thick of it, and moving forward in the future, we might have a tractor set up to drop off the corn to our silo while we're harvesting, and then instantly, you know, as it gets filled up, have a different tractor and trailer unloading the silo and bringing it over to the corn dryer, and just having all that automation in place is kind of the plan long term while we're doing the harvest. Yeah, and the efficiencies of this, or inefficiencies, aren't as big of a deal when it's going on in the background because you're not picking it apart the whole time like I am right now. As long as they can get here, especially with the traffic shut off, there should be no issues besides the train potentially. They're lining up here. Gonna drop it off. Can't complain. Cannot complain. And they go on the loop for the next trip. All right, what can we do around here? We can grab our cleaning equipment, our pressure washer. And my mouse just stopped working. Man, we're having some weird issues today. We're gonna move this out and start getting everything cleaned up here. Oh, the mouse is moving off the screen. That's what's going on. All right, let's get a little indicator showing us 63%. So yeah, we're getting everything cleaned up, and then we'll make it December and be able to sell that ketchup. All right, heading over to where the case is with the pressure washer now, and I believe our workers should be pulling in here momentarily. Yep, there they are. We can see them through the shrubs, getting that last bit of corn. Beautiful process. Yeah, everything's all cleaned up, and they're heading back right now to, you can see on the mini map, they are just exiting the property for the last bit of corn getting dropped off at the corn dryer. Kind of see them through the shrubs out there in the distance. Not sure if that'll show up on YouTube, but what a good process. Once they get back, we will be making it December. I might do one more load of, well, I probably need to wait for that to get back to do a little bit of chicken feed as the rooster's trying to escape. And also we need to do a little bit of TMR. Hey, I found another dirty thing. All right, time to get that TMR going. We'll get a little bit of silage put in, and the rest will be some hay. Well, we'll be 4 silage, 2 hay, and a little bit of straw. All right, let's get this lifted up high enough so we can get it in there. And the last little bit of, well, no, we don't want that to tip over. We want to do like this. Oh, come on. Take it, please. There it goes. That should get down to 3,000. And we should be able to just back up and we will put this down. I do enjoy this on controller. I just have to get used to, you know, the differences in all the buttons we have to push here. So I think this is a smart move. The control, like I said, the steering wheel is just bulky. I have the trucker wheel right now, the Moza trucker wheel, and I think I want to get a smaller steering wheel because that thing's just huge. But we can dump right here is what I found out. And it will go into the cow pasture. Or the cow feeding lot here. Let's double check that that is working. Yeah, TMR's going up. They should have plenty for overnight. It didn't take all of it, huh? It got full, so that's good. We have a little bit in hand for the morning. And let's see where our tractor is. Let's just open the map. It is already on its way back. Beautiful. And we'll be able to feed the chickens once it's back. And we might as well take over at this point. But gotta love it. Did eat a little bit of our cash by having a worker do that, but it was a good test, and we did see it work to perfection there. We'll have to clean both of these once we're done feeding the chickens as well. I need to get a trailer long term that's just dedicated to the chickens. We don't need this ginormous one. We'll do the rest of the wheat first before we dip into our barley. And we'll have grain to sell in January, but not this episode. So it'll be okay to just leave it in there. If it doesn't take all of it. Gosh, already almost a whole... thought it was right here. Oh, we gotta go a little farther. Probably back in just a hair. There we go, not bad. Oh, beautiful, it did take all of it. So let's take this over to the shed over here. We'll get it pressure washed. And then we'll finally get some selling that ketchup. Yeah, this was 96% dirty, so it definitely was in need. I don't know what damage, problems we have for grain trailers. Be interesting if they just stopped working, like the mechanical parts of it, but we'll keep everything as clean as possible. Make it pretty. This one's gonna be 99%, so yeah, it was pretty filthy. All right, just to shut that off for now, and it's time to sleep. Gosh, how much money in wool are we gonna make in March? Let's see, or in May. Wool's already at 83,000 in May. That's gonna be above 100,000. What do we got on the used market here? Not bad stuff at all, just nothing we need. That would be kind of fun to have. Wouldn't be a bad idea to have another one of these, but I think we're good on ignoring the sales. We're gonna let's go ahead and dump the rest in here, if it'll take the rest. All right, and then we're gonna grab the trailer, the flatbed, and head on over to the production, the ketchup production, and sell a bunch of ketchup. We have these episodes every once in a while that are just selling things and just managing the farm. Man, I love these ones. I don't know how you guys feel about it with the lack of farming in them. I just love these episodes. We are going to detach here and get these all piled up, these 4, and try to get them turned into ketchup pretty quick. Yeah, and then, and we'll get everything sold. Gosh, if I can get used to the controls. Once I get used to the controls, I think this is going to be way better than the farm stick we were using. Or the side panel, yeah. I feel like I have a lot more control over this. And we did load up some eggs as well. I figured the prices are still pretty good on those. We might as well make as much money as possible right now. Get us a good start for year 3. See ya at the ketchup production. And get this all dropped off first. And then we'll head back over to the grocery store, the supermarkets, drop off the eggs, and then we're just gonna wait for the ketchup production to get done. And I'll start loading up all the pallets while we wait for that. Do our last selling event of year 2. Another, about 12 grand from the eggs there. I think that was definitely worth selling right now. But I will see you possibly in a few hours. I'm not sure how long it's going to take them to go through all of those tomatoes. All right, it is 10 o'clock and we've gotten all of the ketchup, 17,000 liters or 17,000 bottles of ketchup. And we're headed over to the pizzeria to get it sold and see what our first year of ketchup production is going to bring in. All righty, here we go. First time selling at the pizzeria, I believe. And let's unstrap. That was a hefty $93,000. Not too bad. We are going to end year 2 with $115,000 in our bank account. Everything trending the right direction. We got a lot to sell in January when we get back to Alma. But we're going to put a little pin in this series for a short time. We'll be back to it We're going to focus on the survival challenge, the SWU Farms series for a little while, and then we'll come back to Alma, and who knows what pops up in between. I'm Socksway Up. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you're enjoying this series, and I'll catch you on the next episode.